Yo, what's up, everyone? We back live. We early, but it's all good.
Yep,
Yeah, we
that's
it's
a
all
good
good.
thing. It's always
Yeah,
good to be early.
we decided to get up here a little early, but
Yep,
hey, yeah,
it's all good.
yeah, Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and we're this is part two. Tortured siblings victimized by the judicial system and media. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
So last week, if you was up here, um, we just dissecting more articles. So, but we had an icebreaker first, um, which everybody might be familiar with. So, if you know, um, the news lady, Savannah Guthrie, her mother went missing. When was that? Friday?
yeah,
Saturday?
was it last Saturday maybe something like
Yeah,
that? Yeah,
Friday or Saturday. And
yeah,
today is what? Friday. So
yeah.
almost a week.
Yep.
And she was 84 years old. And so this is like really bizarre because I remember when me and you first started talking about it uh Monday.
Yeah, we was discussing this. Yep.
Yeah. And I was wondering, did she have some type of dementia or some type of brain elements or something? And
Yeah.
that's when you told me no, she didn't.
Yeah, they were saying she didn't have, yeah, no
Yeah,
cognitive disease and like that. Yeah.
yeah. And the way she was taken, like in the middle of the night, like that 84-year-old woman living by herself, just minding her own business, and somebody just come in her home, and take her like that. So pretty much I think everybody that's watching know the motive that was behind it. She has a daughter that is famous on the news, and pretty much is what I've been hearing is that there's a ransom letter, but they haven't really given too much detail on this ransom. But just hoping and praying she's returned back home. It was just bizarre because 84 years old. I was like, people are resorting to kidnapping people's mothers now. And so it's like a thing now that this has been all over the TV. I mean, like nonstop, every station on social media, everywhere, that this lady was taken. And it's crazy because it was some false information that was put out, which is like um foul, because I know we spoke about it, that from dissecting stuff from a whole year, you got to
Yeah.
kind of be really careful with the media and actually listen to individuals that are actually out in the field dealing with that whole situation, because the media, they tend to twist things up, exaggerate, and add things. And so I heard that her son in law was the person that took her. I mean, full blown headlines that her son in law was the person that took her. And then all of a sudden, it pops up, no, they never said her son was a suspect and that her son um, in law took her. They said that her son in law and her daughter was the last two people that
The
saw
seer.
her,
Yeah.
because evidently they went out to dinner and they dropped her off at home, and they said they waited till she went in the house, and so that was the last time they saw her. But during this process, you got to kind of use your own brain in that process, that's who they're going to look at first anyways, is the family
Yeah,
when
that's the
somebody
first
is
thing they do.
missing,
Yeah, when someone's missing off
yeah
top.
especially if you're the last person that saw somebody. because you got families that'll do bizarre stuff to people, but this isn't their case, you know. And then I heard a mention of that the son was a suspect again, possibly. You never know. You don't know. You don't know.
Yeah, but what trips me about the case that the FBI was on it, right?
Oh,
Because
the
this person,
FBI was
yeah, because
directly.
yeah, they was kidnapped, so she was kidnapped, so the FBI is on it. And what's crazy is that Laura said that she was kidnapped and she was
Mm-hmm.
held hostage for all this time, and she's claiming, helicopters and tanks and everything was all over the place, but
Mm-hmm.
nobody contacted the FBI, and she was on billboards.
Yeah. And speaking of that, I'm glad you said that because this lady was taken out of her. This lady was in her house, locked in her house, in bed. She was taken out of her house. So that's kidnap right there, right?
Yeah.
And she was taken against her will,
Mm-hmm.
and now she's being held. You know, all
Yep.
of that, all the words that they've used in this case. Just looking at the news, I got to thinking about her because I was like, wow. I mean, the FBI this is a real kidnapping. This is a real kidnapping right here. This is a person that has really been abducted. This is a person that's really been held hostage and is in captivity. And when you think of all those words, kidnap, abduction,
Mm-hmm.
hostage, captivity, you don't look at Laura. Well, all of us know, but you don't look at her like, no, none of those things didn't happen to you, because if it did, you see how widespread this case is. You know,
Oh
people
yeah.
would have been talking about it, you know, and I'm just like, this is weird. This is just really odd. It's really weird, like this is just like happening for real right in front of all of our faces nationwide everywhere. And the weird thing about it is that you got the police involved, you got the FBI involved, you got actually posters of her out, of her mother out, and you got um her kids asking to return their mother. This was never in any case the stuff that she said in interviews. She said there was billboards of her up.
Yeah, Laura. It was
No
none of that
history.
stuff. No history.
No
Yep.
billboards, no hostage, no captivity, no kidnap, no abduction. She said Musa came to her shop and took her. None of that. None of that. And then you remember, like we was talking about that, you know, back in the day, how they advertised children on the milk carton, the
Mm-hmm.
cereal box.
All that stuff.
Until today, some of those kids, they haven't even found them. I remember being a little kid and seeing kids missing on a box, and then going to school, walking to school, and seeing on the light posts a kid has been abducted, or being in your classroom and your teacher announced to you that such and such kid went missing, and the teachers will start explaining they had such and such hair, a blue jacket, they had a backpack, because it happened a lot back in the late 80s, early 90s, where children was walking home from school and they was getting abducted. And then they had programs at school where the police came out and the police would talk
You
to
talking
children.
about
I remember
Dare?
another program there, yeah.
Yeah.
But the children would come out, the police would come out and talk to children about not talking to strangers, you know, not getting in their car because strangers will lure you in and, oh, I got some candy for you. I have this for you, and lure children in. And not just that, but they talked about drugs as well. So I'm just like, those are real abductions right
You remember
there.
that commercial back in the day? This is your brain on drugs. They would show the egg
The
crackling in
egg
the frying
scramble.
pan.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, like I said, this is a real situation right here, and it's not. It's just bad. It's just bad.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the lady is returned home. Prayers to her and her family that they're returned. She's returned home. Safe. You know.
Yeah, everyone, that's a real kidnapping. Everybody can see that. And that's what Laura's claiming, that Musa kidnapped her and her kids, just walked in her store and took her. On so many different articles, she's constantly changing everything. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's just, it's wild because she was never kidnapped. So,
This is like just giving everybody that's watching a prime example of the things that she's said in the media. No one has any news articles of this ever happening. No one has never seen any posts. You can't even Google that she was kidnapped and it pops up on some big old major stations. The only thing you can Google is her lying, saying
yeah.
that she was kidnapped. And
You
there's
can Google
no
her. Yeah. Like you
there,
type her name in, an article will come up and say, "Oh, she was kidnapped." Blah blah blah. Then it'll read through, but you read through it, it doesn't say how she was kidnapped.
she's never given any real details, which we've asked, and I think the audience should know. And I also think this too, because somebody told me this today. She needs to be reported for all of those videos that she did. Somebody told me today she's done like so many interviews and so many videos, and it contradicts her story to what she testified to. It's like, do the police not see those videos? Do the FBI or the Justice Department not see them videos that she's blatantly sitting up online saying that she was kidnapped? And then she's taking things and she's changing it and intertwining just stuff none of us never knew about, stuff that we're privy to, that we know that didn't happen in the home, outside the home, and even during the trial. It's just like make believe stuff. And then what is she gonna do? She gonna write a book and put some lies in it, and people gonna support her and buy it?
I know what I was thinking earlier. She said she was going to leave a legacy, right? For her for her kids. My thing is, only legacy she's gonna leave is the fact that she stole another family story and that she lied about kidnapping. And she did a movie that was just ridiculous. Saying disgusting movie, talking about someone's family and saying that you went through something that never happened to you. That's a legacy she's gonna leave.
It's a bad legacy of lies to leave, and it's really no legacy at all.
Yeah,
It's just a big old triangle of lies, and it's a twisted, like, it's not, you can't even put the puzzle together at all, because the puzzle is like everywhere. You can't find all the pieces to it because it don't exist.
yeah,
So, that right there. But like I said, I hope they find the news anchor Savannah Guthrie's mother, and that she's returned home, because to kidnap somebody's mother like that, that's cold.
yeah.
That's cold. And then you wonder, for everybody out there that got parents, you know, you wonder about your parents now, what people will do. Because this is the first time, honestly, I ever heard. Have you ever heard anything like this before?
About what? Someone? I mean,
Somebody kidnapping an 84-year-old person. I mean, people get kidnapped, but I'm saying
it happens. It's just the
it,
fact that that's Savannah Guthrie's mother, and she's famous and she's on TV and stuff. So it's
right.
wild, but it has happened,
Hmm.
but not to this magnitude where you see it all over the news like this.
Yeah. Because I was like, wow, I don't even ever even recall. I mean, just going in somebody's house like that, that's creepy.
Yeah.
That's really creepy.
All right. So we're on to now.
Okay, so we on to how the criminal justice system failed victims, and many cases like they did, in many cases like they did all of us. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So bottom line, They failed all of us, and they're still today. They continue to do some stuff, which I'm not going to speak too much on, but it's being taken care of. Is that they continue to fail you and do malicious things to try to attack you, and don't attack you on anything, hide stuff, because the thing is that if the case was so right, why are you hiding things? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Hmm.
It's
Yeah, they're
nothing
hiding a
to
lot of
hide.
stuff.
It's nothing
Yeah.
to hide if it's so right,
Yeah.
you know.
If nothing went wrong, yeah, I don't want to get, but yeah, like you
Yep.
said, I'm not
Can't
trying
get
to.
really too deep in
Yeah.
detail, but why are you I just don't get it.
Yeah.
And then we go on to systematic biasness. And we spoke about this before, that, you know, those people was very biased against all of us, with picking and choosing, you know. Oh, what they did, they led their ears to believe in what they wanted.
Yeah.
And so when they heard things that was negative about her because she wrote this letter, they decided just to turn their heads and play blind and dumb and deaf, like they didn't hear anything none of us said. So
They
that's what
wanted
I
to shape. They just wanted to shape the case the way they wanted to, and
right.
present it their way, regardless of what these children were saying. These abused children, black family, Islamic. They didn't want to hear anything. We're going to
Yeah.
shape it the way we want to, and
Yeah.
that's basically what they did.
Yeah. Okay, so we go on to number 2, active fabrication of evidence by the authorities, which they have done, characterize Laura as a victim of abuse without any evidence based off of hearsay. So like I said, when we went to go visit the district attorney, um, it was shocking to me to find out that the lady even said out of her mouth in the 30 years that she's worked there, that, somebody can go in a room and say somebody punched them, and they can come out and then they can say, oh, this person punched me without a bruise. And I'm just like, how is that possible to even do something like that? She said it happens and people get in trouble for it.
Mm.
And so I'm saying all of us need to be really afraid in our work environments and all types of stuff around people, because I'm like, wow, I got the thing. I was like, wow, anybody can do that, you know? So I was just like, that right there, that's a lot of plan and
I,
twisting stuff
yeah,
up right
I
there.
like how you say they characterize her as a victim, and they put her in this as if, okay, this is what Musa did to her, but there's no evidence, but they managed to, like you said, fit her in there in some way. And it's like I always say, I feel they could have convicted dad without her. I mean, okay, yeah, she
Oh
has
yeah,
that letter. It's like that.
yeah.
She had that letter. I understand that in that letter has some things that dad was doing. I get it, but they could have convicted him without that, because I mean, basically they did. I mean, really, when you think about it, they were just adding that on to just try to make it look, this man is just terrorizing everybody, and he's doing it solely by himself, which wasn't the case. But like, so I'm not trying to take up for him, but what he did was wrong. Yeah.
Well, like you said, is that they didn't need her. But matter of fact, look, they didn't need no letter. They didn't need her at all because it was already out there. And it was bound to get told anyways because all of us had to testify. So, what she wrote in that letter, what she did, a lot of the stuff she wrote in that letter, it wasn't nothing new, but a lot of stuff she lied. Everything in the letter she lied and fabricated about. The only thing she told the truth about is what happened to us. That's the only thing she
Mm.
told the truth about. So we go on to number 3. In many cases, police have lied to victims in order to get them to speak, but not because they want to, but by force of you're going to jail if you lie to me and don't tell me the truth. That was a lot of that was going on because I recall Mike talking about that in one of his interviews that he felt pressured and forced, you know. It wasn't like a direct question to ask you in a, you know, nice manner, a kind manner. It was like, you better tell this and you better tell that because we already got evidence of it. And other siblings have already told such and such this, even though we hadn't even spoke to them and they hadn't even spoke to mom, about it, or dad. They was just relying on a letter that she wrote and attacking all of us with
It,
it. Like,
what I'm trying to understand, okay, they're questioning Mike, no counselor, nobody there because of
no
the
legal
trauma, and
counsel.
everybody is dealing with trauma and through the abuse and everything that's going on. They got him in like in the holding room, like questioning him, like he's
Yeah.
like he's the criminal.
It's the same way they interrogate. Like, that's what I was telling you, is that throughout this whole case, it wasn't just, them locking mom and dad up because of the stuff that they did. They interrogated all of us. They put all of us up under that. Like, we all was predators. That's what they did. Like Mike had um described. They did all of us like that. They put us in a small room where behind the glass they got somebody back there because you could see them when they
Hmm.
turned the lights on. That's why they had them off and turned on another light. They got somebody behind the glass. I know the protocol because we've been through it, a lot. And it's just like they had people back there and they recording you. And then the officer got a piece in their ear, seeing that, and they got another detective behind the glass, and they telling you what to ask. They ask us. Well, tell them if they don't tell, they're going to jail. It was a lot of threats, and you talking
How do
about
you
little
tell? How do
kids.
you tell
Yeah,
little kids that's been
this is
abused
what this is what
that
the
that
six
you
younger
going to
siblings.
jail if you don't tell me the truth? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
this is what the six younger siblings told us after the fact, and they was placed in foster homes. They said the officers, they said they told, because, which they was right for telling.
Yeah, yeah, there's nothing wrong with
It was
that. Yeah.
100, 1,000% right for telling. But I'm just explaining it to the audience in this way, is that when we spoke to them, they told us that they told on our parents because they was threatened that they was going to jail. And mind you, these are minors that didn't even have an attorney present, no legal counsel. They wasn't given the right to not speak unless there was attorney present. Nope, you just gonna speak. You gonna tell because we got all the evidence. They ain't had no evidence. The only thing they had was a letter because they hadn't examined anybody or anything. They just took them and straight interrogate them. That's what they did to us when they took Keisha, me, Sharon, uh, Marlon, and Tiffany. They interrogated all of us. And what they did, since we wasn't willing to talk, they pulled the stunt where they tried to say we was mental because of things she had wrote in that letter and tried to lock us down in the mental facility. But guess what? We was up out of there in about 2-3 hours. That didn't work.
Yeah, but my whole thing that pisses me off that they treat you like it was everyone like it was criminals and
Yeah.
nobody, no counselor, nobody there to and then say you're going to jail if you don't say or do this or that because of a letter that Laura wrote.
Not just that they did it because we was black. Be mindful of that.
Yeah, black and Islamic families. Yeah.
I was looking at the Turpin kids and I was
Hmm.
looking at us. We didn't have any cell phones during that time to make a call and get any help. Plus, we was groomed that if you call the police on your parents, then I'll disown you.
Yeah, that's what I want to kind of get to because
Yeah.
you they have to understand like we said, we mentioned before, dad got out of a lot of situations. They don't know what you're dealing with up here because of what he has done, what he, all these years. And they're telling you you're going to jail. So you like, I'm a kid. And then, but my dad, he's always getting out.
Mm-hmm.
If he gets out, this gonna happen,
Yeah. But we didn't have it in us. We didn't have none of us had it in us when we was asked, well, why didn't you call the police? Okay, first of all, we was groomed that the police was no good. You can't call the police. You call the police, you're gonna get disowned.
Yeah.
You can't tell nobody, nobody. You can't say anything. So we didn't have nobody we could talk
And
to
the
but each
taxes he
other.
was pulling it, the tax that he was taxes and the stuff he was pulling in the home, all
Yeah,
the taxes here. I'm gonna do this to you. I'm gonna do
it
that to
was.
you.
Yeah, spiritual abuse, spiritually abusing you that you're gonna be punished if you tell. God's gonna punish you if you tell. There's surahs in the Quran that if you pass away, you're gonna be punished that way if you do that to me, because you're supposed to obey your parents. Of course, we all know you're supposed to obey your parents, but you ain't supposed to provoke your kids. And
Yeah.
all of us was provoked, and we never did anything. Not one of us. And they can't say, they're just butt hurt. Both of them, they're butt hurt because they got caught. That's what their problems are. That's why they're still with him. He's sitting incarcerated and he's still in denial about what he did. He knows he did it in his brain, but he's not going to bring it on the outside and say exactly what he did. What he wants
Hmm.
to do, he wants to continue to gaslight all of us and make all of us keep thinking you're at fault and you put dad in here for nothing. And I'm suffering. I'm going through this and I'm going through that. I'm in here because of you. That's what he wants to do. And then our mom is still pretty much the same thing, from talking to all of our siblings. And I'm not going to name their names or anything, which I knew, you know, but it's still emotional abuse. I don't want you around me. You got to stand at the gate when you come over. It's still psychological abuse. You supposed to respect, because her saying is you supposed to respect your mom and your dad no matter what they do, and that's not the case at all. You can't just run over your kids with a car and mistreat your kids like we ain't nothing, and we supposed to take it and then still obey and respect you. So that psychological part, that's still going on. I don't want you around me until you apologize. And we're all adults. And so you're made to apologize. Me personally, myself, I'm not lending no apologies ever to him or her. They'll never get an apology for me because we were the children and we experienced all those things from them. And as we became adults, if we did talk back or say anything, it was out of anger because of all the stuff we had endured. So
Yeah.
everybody was exercising using their voices,
All right. Hmm.
and they have to look at themselves. Both of them, they up in their 70s and and young 70s, and they made a career out of beating their kids up, both of them, and then they let Laura come in the house, and she came in the bunch, and she saw what was going on. She was beating up her own son and doing things to her daughter. And
And
then
it's
in the
and
home,
it's like it's police reports out there on her doing that.
yeah. And
And
then
and
in
and,
the
and they know
home,
that. And my thing is they know that. They the police.
yeah,
They know this stuff.
yeah. And then in the home, attacking us, lying, enabling, calling names, laughing, having a field day, just enjoying, herself. First of all, our father, and I want to make this clear to everybody because this was brought up to me. Our father was not obligated, and I don't care what the law says. This is not taking up for him. This is just right. Our father was not obligated to take care of Adrian and her two children. He was not obligated to take care of Laura and her two children. He had an obligation to our mother and his 13 children, period. And I don't care what nobody say. Them two kids he had out of wedlock, those kids came in there because those was affairs. There was no Muslim ceremonies where there was a marriage. They used the Muslim religion as a cult. All of them was doing it. That's what our parents was into. They was into a cult because the Muslim people, and I've been around them and I've learned something. They don't treat people and their kids like that. I work with 2 Muslim people at my job, and I'm just like, they don't treat people like that. So you got 2 that made careers off of beating their kids up. Another one made a career off of beating their kid up, but then hiding it. I didn't do any. It's always the same thing comes out of her mouth. I don't know. I didn't do anything.
Well,
Same
they're
stuff. I
lying
kind
on
of,
me. They're
yeah,
lying on me.
yeah. Everybody's lying on you 100%. 100%. Everybody's lying. You was there. You was there, and so you had a responsibility to get help. Just like our mom, she was there. It's no excuses for her. She had a responsibility to get help. Don't come up with the stuff your brains was being beaten out and all types of crap, and you couldn't do anything because that stuff don't fly with me at all, you know. And I became like this myself because just listening to all our siblings talk about the stuff and how they felt, even how they feel now, you know, they're missed not being, on this platform, but they make their own decisions as adults because, like some of them have said, this is still triggering to them. And you're not going to go, like Laura said, she went through 10 years of therapy.
Yeah, I hate the
And
fact that she keeps saying she's been through 10 years of therapy,
yeah,
8 or 10 years with her and her kids, and then I'm like, cut
the
the
10
crap.
years of therapy that she said, or 8 years, or however many years, and you're out of therapy now. Look, the stuff that she said that he did to her, you're gonna need a lifetime of therapy for that type of stuff, okay? Because I know for myself, I'm gonna need a lifetime of therapy, and I'm still in therapy. It's been like 20 something years, 19, 20 something years that I can count. And I'm just like, no, you gonna need therapy. The stuff that you went through, especially kids. There's no way all the stuff she said her kids went through and stuff. And you're talking about they went through all this therapy. It don't make sense. It just, I don't,
Yeah,
explaining it,
yeah,
it just don't make sense to me.
yeah. Okay, which one are we still on 3 or we on 4? I can't.
Mm, no, we were still on 3 about the
Okay,
system,
okay.
attacking us and turning
Yes,
us
yeah,
into the perpetrator. We was treated just like they was. It was like being booked.
yeah.
That's what it was like. Like you in trouble. You being booked until you tell the truth. And don't lie to me because we know what happened. Because mom went through the same interrogation I read in the police report. There was things that she was asked, and they got it verbatim in the police report what was asked, and she answered it. They told her when they knew that she was lying, and she told the truth. Number 4, some police officers lie to victims to secure testimonies, and sometimes this lead to wrongful convictions. This did not happen in our father's case, but I do know that he was wrongfully convicted with dealing with Laura. I do know that. But guess what? Like I said before, that's not our battle to fight. That's his battle to fight. So, he was wrongfully convicted when it came to her. He was
Mm.
off some hearsay charges with no bruises, none of that.
No pictures, nothing, nothing, nowhere. No rape kit, nothing. She uses that, and I find that to be disgusting because you're telling our sister she's a product of rape when that's not true.
I think she knows that she's not. Like
Yeah, I
Marcus
think
had
she know. I
mentioned,
think they know
that
too.
was
Yeah,
a whole cover up to say that she was raped, to piggyback off of our sister and say that she was raped because She was having an affair with a married man, and she knew that that was going to be her cover up when
And
he
didn't she
got
say?
out.
Didn't she tell them that Dad was her boyfriend when they interrogated her?
Yeah, yeah. First, you're your husband. I'm confused because there's so many articles out there. I hope that the people that tried him in this case off of her, that you're looking at all of these interviews that she's done and how her story has changed. Because I know I've watched a lot of them. I downloaded a lot of them, copied them, researched a lot of stuff. And what she's doing, I'm just saying, and personally for me, those are all, I mean, that's all like perjury. That's what it is. A lot of perjury. I mean, you sitting up there on interviews and you told, you know, these detectives and these DAs that you was held captive for 4 years, but now you're saying 6 months. How'd you get down to 6 months? Like I said, people better ask the tough questions, you know?
Mm.
And a lot of people, I'm gonna put this out there, a lot of men and some women, but I'm gonna specifically say men. A lot of men have been wrongfully convicted for spousal abuse, and they didn't do anything. A lot, a whole lot. But like I said, that's his case to fight her civilly, you know. So we go on to number 5. The criminal justice system failed. Wait a minute, let me go back. I think I skipped one.
I think it's on 4, but I think the way you sent it,
Yeah, I think I sent it twice.
yeah,
I did.
I thought you was gonna get into the bias, and that's what we
Yeah, I
did.
am. I'm going to that next because I got to skip that second slide. So, number 1, confirmation bias, seeking to interrupt that confirms exiting beliefs. So those were some of the biasness right there. Is
Mm.
that the police came out and it was already things going on with all of the adults abusing all the kids in the house, but they was like using us as bait. Like, no, well, she didn't do that. Like, they was gaslighting you and putting it in your head. Like, no, she didn't do that. You're wrong about that. Because she wrote a letter and such, she said it happened to her. So they was trying to interrupt what we was talking about, you know, and using their own beliefs of what they think happened without no evidence at all. That's what they was doing. And then they got anchoring bias, relying on first piece, relying on the first piece of information that is received. So they relied on the letter because that was the first piece of information they received that led them to come to the house. So they relied on that letter. And when they relied on that letter, they didn't do no deep or further investigation. All they did was just took her word at face value because she wrote a 23-page letter. So, hey, he did all of this, because she wrote this long letter. So that's mainly what they relied on. A letter she wrote, and then she had recorded a bunch of recordings, and she said so herself in a church interview that she did a lot of recordings. And then they have number 3, the halo effect of biasness, letting one positive trait influence the entire outcome. So they use the letter like as a positive trait, and the letter just took over them, influenced them, and they just turned the letter into whatever they wanted. Like, yeah, he did all of this stuff. We found, even in the letter, the lies that she told, they put
Mm-hmm.
it in the media, and some of those detectives and also the DA went on some shows with her, and they actually used that letter. You telling me everything down to a T that she wrote in that letter was true? 23 pages. That's a lot. 26 pages, actually.
26, yeah, front and back,
That's a
13
lot.
paper front and back, yeah. It is a lot.
That's a lot. And they never was specific, even when they was on their shows. They was like
For,
this. They was
check it
like,
out. For somebody that wasn't a credible witness, but you went on the show with them.
yeah. And if you look at those two shows that those two individuals did, Julie Baldwin and Zirko, Rick Zirko, if you look at those two shows, they never was really specific about what he found. Well, he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't up at the house anyways. So he lied on TV, national TV. He
He
lied.
did it twice. Well, he did more
Yep.
than twice. He did it on
They
Anderson
just said
Cooper.
that it was
Yeah,
obvious.
but one thing he did on Anderson Cooper, he did
Yeah.
on that documentary, and he also did on the Dr. Phil
On the
show.
Dr. Phil show. Yep. They just said, oh, it was obvious.
Yeah, and then with Julie, what she did, she just intertwined or merged in what went on with y'all, and just applied it to Laura and her kids, which they know nothing. There's no evidence there.
Mm-hmm. So it's just like, oh, it was just obvious that everybody didn't have no food and that they was locked up. This is how they spoke. They didn't even show, I don't even recall them. I don't know if you recall, they didn't
Hmm.
show no reports. I think they probably was afraid to even show the police report.
Yeah, they never talk
Because
about it either.
if you
I don't
saw the
believe.
police report, you'd be shocked.
Yeah.
It's it's
Yeah,
totally.
go back to our videos where we talk about the police report. You'll see what we say. To the audience. Yeah, it's
You'd be
crazy.
shocked at actually what's in the police report.
Yeah.
And then they got hindsight bias, which is something we all went through. So I'm going through all the steps for everybody. Hindsight bias, believing one individual, forming your own opinion without evidence. So they just believed her, and then they formed their own opinion, like I said a few minutes ago, based off of what everybody else was going through. They found evidence. They found evidence on all of us. They found paper trails of previous things that happened to all of us, but they didn't find no paper trails on Laura, nor did they find
Nope.
any bruises or anything on her. Because I asked the office manager that we spoke to. She said, nope, nope. They didn't find
Yeah.
nope, none of them. So she said, I don't know why you guys weren't about it. She wasn't a credible witness, anyways. That was shocking to hear that. And I'm thinking to myself, you put somebody that wasn't a credible witness on the stand.
And gave them all this paperwork on some abused kids so she could run with it and say it happened to her and her kids, and just smear us all over the internet.
Yeah. So we go on to number 6, bandwagon effects, adopting behavior or beliefs that someone suffered from a syndrome when they was a part of the abuse. So, like Laura stated, she was a victim of Stockholm syndrome. And if you look at her face, because every time I look at her face, I can't even figure it out. Where's the truth there? I just look at her because I know she's just lying. I'm like, everything she said, I'm like, she lying. She lying. So, I look at her and I'm just like, when she said she suffered from Stockholm syndrome is not even in the DSM 5,
Hmm.
that people that's going to school to be psychologists and counselors,
Mm-hmm.
that's not even in the DSM-5 book. It's not. Because I have the book. It's not even in there. It's not even a mental element.
It's a
Plus,
theory. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's a
yep,
proposed theory. It's not
yeah.
even, like
Plus,
you
it
said.
wouldn't even
Yeah,
apply to her.
it wouldn't. Mm.
It wouldn't apply because she seemed like she was a kind of pushing Dr. Phil to say that, hey, such and such this, they said I suffered from, Stockholm syndrome or something. So it seemed like she was trying to push, like she almost like she didn't know for sure
Yeah.
what was the syndrome she suffered from. Like she was trying to push, Dr. Phil to say that she suffered from something that she didn't suffer from. He just listened to her. And I was sitting up there because I had never even heard of it till we left the show. Had to do some more
Now,
research on it.
now
And I'm
our
just like,
mom, now mom, you can say she suffered from that.
yeah, most definitely. She did. Because the thing is, you got to look at Laura left the home several times. She left the home several times. And it wasn't like it was a pattern of every time something happened, I'm calling the police because this happened to me or that, happened to me. It was just like her thing was, I see the things that he's doing to his kids and all of that. So I'm just going to use them and piggyback off of them and say that, oh, he did these things to me. So, like I said, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's just a lot to put together.
I know you were sending a lot of these sending all this information to me, but did we ever get into, well, I know we didn't because I'm going back up to some of the notes you sent me. And I know I saw something you talked about the subpoena.
Yeah, during the process of all of us being subpoenaed, they used intimidating tactics to subpoena all of us.
Yeah.
They used that to intimidate all of us. Like, if you don't come, I mean, like I said, the
And here's the
tactic.
and I think and I know with a subpoena, it's a court order
Oh
that if you
yeah,
don't go, of course, you can fine, be contempt of court, and possible,
you
jail,
go to
you know what I'm saying?
jail.
But yeah, but it's the way they did it, and because like you said with y'all, they did the same thing with me. They constantly kept saying jail, jail, and I'm like, what? I mean, I read it, I know what's in it, so
Mm-hmm.
but it's the way it was done. And that's what when y'all talk about it, I'm like, yeah, I get that part because the same thing was done to me.
Um,
Like you
but
said,
I'm
the
saying
tactics and how
I
they
think
did
they
it. Yeah,
took it way too far, flying there, then going to people's place of work,
yeah.
coming to people's house because that was embarrassing. Coming to your place of work, serving you, coming to people's house in the neighborhood that you live in, where people know you, and people wondering what's going on. Because I
Yeah.
think I
See,
was at work and the sheriffs came to our house, and
if
a
I'm not
neighbor.
mis- mhm.
Mhm,
if I'm not mistaken, I think he served me at work, and he also talked to me in my boss office, and I was talking to him, which was crazy. But then had to meet with him later again, like another time during that week at the school, so we can talk again about I guess what Musa did to me and all this stuff, me and grandma. So then I got another call from Julie. It just was a lot of back and forth,
mhm,
contact. And then I had to go to court like later, not during that same time, but a couple of months later when they were gonna actually I had to go to California. So I had to go to court and one of our aunts came with me
mhm.
and the court was packed. Now like I felt so embarrassed, I had to get up Because I don't know about court stuff, y'all. I ain't all, I don't be going to court and jail and all that stuff. I ain't that type of person. I'm low key. So just having to be put in that situation, I'm like, everybody looking at you, and the judge got you up there. I had to raise my right hand and swear and do all this stuff. And he's explaining this all the things in subpoena. And then
Mm-hmm.
they two bailiffs, they walked me to the side to a door to where the office at with the judge, whatever. And I walk in there, and then they say some more stuff to me again about going to jail. I'm like, how many times y'all gotta keep saying this? Yeah, so I'm all that happened. I'm like, okay, why am I going to the side in this little office over here? And I think the judge comes out again and speak to me again. I'm like, why they keep saying this? I'm like, okay, whatever. But then as time went on, Julie and all the DAs, they didn't need me, so I had to go out to California because they had all the information from all the records from what Musa did to me.
Like I said, those was all intimidation tactics, using that, going to somebody, flying to another state, going to somebody's place of work, sending somebody to court. And then on top of that, the bottom line is nobody was trying to evade them anyways.
Yeah, I
They
mean
knew what
it
all
was
of
with
us
us.
did. That they was just trying to make us look bad and stuff. I come home from work. Somebody said, "Oh, such and such went and put such and such on your door," and they got a letter taped on the door. And I'm just like, this is embarrassing. People start asking you questions and stuff because people coming in your neighborhood and stuff is like, this is just embarrassing right here, making you look like you a criminal. And like I said, none of us was even evading this process. They just felt like, oh, since we are the law, we can treat them any way we want.
Yeah.
That's just what they did. We treat them whichever way they want. Is also another thing too. I wanted to let everybody know. Be mindful that prosecutors generally focus on charges they believe they can win, like forensics, evidence, and witnesses. We was the witnesses, and we was the evidence. But as far as forensics, like when she said she was stabbed in the foot, there's no evidence of that. There's not a mark. The knife that they have in custody, even now, it had rust, and it's in the police report that the knife had was rusted. It was they could it was unfounded. I didn't even see in all those police reports and those court records. All I saw was things that happened to all of us. I didn't see anything where they said Laura was. Did you see anything?
No, I see anything in
I know
in,
I
in there.
didn't. I didn't see anything where they said she was starving,
Nope,
malnutrition.
it's
I
not
didn't
there.
see any of that in there or on her kids. I didn't see none of that in there at all. I just heard them talking about all of us and saw them talking about all of us. And then prosecutors often plead deals in which our mother was given a deal where she served 17 months already in county jail, and then she pleaded to doing one count of child endangerment. Now, like I said, all of us, we know, and we've spoken about that before, every last one of us, we know she didn't do anything to Laura's son. And like, that's not my battle to fight right there either. I would sue her civilly
And,
for that
like we
one.
like yeah, like we said, yeah, like we said, why does she keep saying Musa abused her son, which he didn't, but knowing that our mom took a deal and she got charged for that, but knowing that she didn't do it, she never mentioned our mom.
Never. Till the day,
Never.
she's never mentioned her. She's never said that. Never. And then Musa's attorney asked for probation and said this was his client's first time getting in trouble, which is a lie.
Yeah, he got a record.
Yeah, said he had no priors, but he did. He had a prior. He had some priors for this stuff that he did before. So they didn't give him probation. I was like, wow, that's just a slap in our faces. They give him probation. And then also, courts usually lean towards the prosecutors due to safety and making sure the victims don't get hurt by releasing releasing information on victims. But this was not the case for all of us, because even till today, I mean, there's some things that he has continued to do.
Mm-hmm.
He's gotten a hold of some things that really kind of, I mean, well, not kind of, it really bothers me because of all the things that he's done. He's gotten hold of some stuff, even invading our privacy and our private lives and our families and stuff when he's not welcome in none of our families. He's done some stuff. Excuse me, Rick.
Uh-huh.
Somebody's calling.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell.
No, no problem. Just
Hello. Yes, speaking.
just give us a moment. Let her take that call. We get right back to it.
Boy, I tell you,
Yeah.
we'll talk when we get off.
I know. Yeah.
Because we almost nearing to the end, but we'll talk.
Yeah. I see you. What you? Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go back to the top.
And you was talking about Musa attorney. Then we went down to the courts. Just about the prosecutors, and then you went down to. Was that the signs that is a weak case? I think we're on that part. We're on that part right there.
Okay. Hope I didn't pass it.
Now it was on the when because I think it was at the courts usually lean towards the prosecutors due to safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before I left, I'm sorry everybody about the interruption, but before I left, there's still some things that he's still doing And there's a lot of stuff that we can't speak on, but he's still doing some stuff.
Yeah.
He's doing some things,
But and I
and
believe as time go on and stuff get cleared up, like we're saying, there's a lot of behind the scenes. We're gonna eventually start talking about
yeah,
a lot of stuff. Yeah,
more details because it's a
yeah,
lot. But he still believes that he's in control of us, and he still believes that he's welcome in all of our lives, and he knows that he's not, but he's done some things. He's done some things, and he's done that to try to instill fear in all of us. That's why I said you can lock people up, and put them in prison for a long time, but in our case, he's locked up in jail, but he still is doing some emotional and psychological abuse and trying to make people fearful. He's still doing that, and he don't care because his thing is like he said, he rules with an iron fist,
yeah.
and he's gonna keep ruling with an iron fist, I guess, until he ain't on planet Earth no more, because
And
that's just
that's
what he
wow. He
believes
said that in court.
in
That's the
court,
like I
and it's
rule
in
with an iron fist.
transcripts. Yeah, put his fist up in the air. So, like I said, it's just not. It ain't no fun when you think that chapter in your life is gonna be closed, and it's not. But I can just tell you this: those tactics he can continue to keep trying and all that, but I don't have no fear in him, not anymore. And I think where the fear comes at is that if he's ever able to get out, that's why I think where the fear would probably come at.
Mm,
But like I said, I ain't got no desire to ever talk to him again, even to look at him. I just don't at all. And I don't know how everybody else feel, but it's just not there at all. I just hope that he changes, and realize the things that he did wrong.
mm.
And the courts have not done a good job in protecting all of us and making sure that, our safety is not violated. It's like things happen and you got to go complain about it when this stuff shouldn't be happening, you know? So that's the thing that really bothers me. Like I said, he's done some cruel stuff while being locked up. But like Richard said, once certain stuff that, we have going on behind the scenes, we'll probably, explain it later.
Yeah, and
But
get and
he's
get
he's
into
still
it.
doing some things.
Like I'm not gonna say too much, but that phone call was one of them.
Yep. That's why I had to get up and leave.
Mm,
Interruption. That was one of them right there.
yep.
Um, Signs that a case is weak, credibility. So the office manager, the DA's office, is the one who told us, which I'm not gonna mention her name, but said that Laura was not a credible witness.
Yeah, her credibility is shot. Yeah.
And my question is why they allow her to testify? And you know what she said? She said she don't know. And ain't that something?
Yeah.
She said I don't know. And then also you got to look at the two inconsistent testimonies in the court records and then that Marsden report. The
Yeah.
mimicking and all the abuse that happened to the children and our mother. Even one of the DAs told us it was very difficult to try the case, because they said there was a lot of inconsistencies from Laura. Every time the case was reviewed, it kind of confused Most of the prosecutors, do you know how many prosecutors was on that case?
I heard it was
It
like
was a
what,
lot.
like
It wasn't just Julie
one,
Baldwin. Julie Baldwin was the last person
it'd
that
been like
got that
what?
case.
Was it like
But,
7 of
but
them?
yeah, but
Maybe?
over a period of 10 years, like
Mm.
seven, because they couldn't get it to go to court, and that's bad right there. Remember the last DA we spoke to before he
Yeah.
retired in
Yeah.
May?
Yeah,
Me,
he
you,
was
and
saying so. Yeah.
Lakeisha. He said every time you guys' case come across my desk, I scratch my head.
Yeah. He just was puzzled.
He said all the
Yeah.
inconsistencies and all of that. It's a lot. It's just a lot. Number three, insufficient, a lack of physical evidence. There was no physical evidence of the brutal abuse that Laura said that happened to her specifically, and this stuff is still not present for as long as she has been in the Cleveland media news. She has shown no pictures in interviews or any of that, and that's because it doesn't exist.
But she ended up doing the movie.
Yeah, did a movie. Ain't that something?
Yeah. You wanna a Jodie Parton part, or you wanna roll over that?
Um, I'm gonna go ahead back to my phone skip. Let me go back to that part up at the top.
Okay, let me
Like I
check.
said, like I said, it's just a lot to dissect.
Yeah, so um we don't have to finish that part because I know that there's a lot of stuff that
Yeah,
from that phone call that you got to handle.
yeah,
So,
and so pretty much, I mean, we'll be back. And in closing, I'm just want to say, Laura might have fooled a whole bunch of you out there,
hmm,
and a lot of people might believe her story, but the bottom line is she hasn't fooled none of us.
yeah, that's right.
She hasn't fooled none of us at all.
That's right.
And also she needs to be aware, of all them. Like I said, it's crazy. Like, I'm sitting back wondering, is the police viewing all these interviews and all of this stuff? That's what I don't get. Like, are you guys viewing all of this stuff that she got out there and how her story has changed?
So it's like she's been doing this over 20 something years, and we just got started last year. So it's so much stuff out there that we haven't found yet, but we're still looking,
Mm-hmm.
and we're still running across articles. We're still, I can't say some stuff, but just trust me, y'all. We still doing a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a lot.
research every week, every week. We're sending notes, we're
Every week.
talking, strategizing, trying to behind the scenes stuff that we're gonna start talking about after we settle some things. So
Yeah.
yeah, then yeah. All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in, and have a blessed day and a week, and we'll see y'all next Friday.
Thank you and good night.
Okay, what's going on with the stream?